Chosen one. Listen closely, because something ancient and holy is moving toward you right now. You feel it in the quiet places of your heart, the shift, the trembling, the whisper in your spirit that refuses to be ignored. You are still lonely by November 16th, not because you are forgotten, not because heaven has overlooked you, but because this moment was written into your story long before you ever took your first breath. You stand at the threshold of a divine turning, and everything around you pauses as if heaven itself leans in to speak your name. This loneliness you carry is not a mistake. It is a sign, a signal, a precursor to the miracles that have already begun marching toward you. And as you stand here, wrapped in silence that sometimes feels too heavy for one soul to bear, heaven sends this message to you at this exact moment, not earlier, not later, because today, something starts to break open in your life. You are not scrolling by coincidence. You are not hearing these words by chance. There is a reason your spirit perks up. Your heart beats differently, and your eyes don't look away. You are the one this message is meant for. You are the one heaven has marked. And this moment is the whisper before the shift. You've been walking through days where the loneliness claws at your ribs, where you speak but feel unheard, where you smile but your soul feels strangely hollow behind it. You are surrounded by people yet isolated in your own spirit. And God sees that. God saw every moment where you laid awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering when things would change, wondering when you would finally feel chosen instead of abandoned. Right now, chosen one, there is a tug in your chest because your season is turning. Something begins today. Not next week, not someday. Today. The ancient writings echo into your life exactly at this point in your journey, reminding you that this loneliness is not a sentence, it is preparation. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 31, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles." These words are not history. They are instruction. They are prophecy over your life in this moment. You are about to rise from this loneliness with strength you didn't even know was possible. You feel the wind changing. You feel the air around you tightening with purpose. You feel heaven adjusting things on your behalf. And though you can't see it yet, there are 8 miracles already in motion. 8 shifts. A. Divine intervention. 8 breakthroughs that have been set in your direction long before you realized you needed them. You feel the unseen realm gathering behind you. Chosen one. Movements you cannot hear begin aligning. The way stars shift before dawn breaks. Heaven is repositioning every piece, every person, every path that will carry you out of this loneliness. Something ancient rises, whispering that your story is being rewritten. You stand on sacred ground without realizing it, wrapped in a silence that is not empty but expectant. Angels watch over your steps as destiny bends toward your name. Every delay is dissolving, every chain is weakening. The atmosphere carries a promise. What's approaching will outweigh every sorrow you survived. And this very moment is the whisper before the shift, the quiet before the unfolding, the moment God reaches into your story and says, "I have not forgotten you. Prepare yourself." But this message, as powerful as it is not just meant to be heard. It is meant to be sealed. You know it. You feel it. Heaven requires your agreement, your acknowledgement, your yes. So hear me clearly. Chosen one, if you feel this message pressing on your spirit, if you feel your heart responding, if you feel your loneliness being spoken into with divine precision, then don't just stay silent. Seal this moment. Step into alignment. Before we go deeper into the miracles ahead, take a breath and anchor yourself right now. Because the shift begins with recognition, recognizing that this message is for you, that this season is ending, that your name has been called in the Spirit. If what you're hearing resonates, then show heaven you are awake. Show heaven you are listening. Show heaven you are ready for the unfolding. Like this message, share it, so another chosen one can rise. Subscribe so you never miss what heaven is releasing next. And at the end of this section, you will seal the moment with a single prophetic number, because today, the turning begins. You move forward from that whispering threshold into a place where the silence around you begins to reveal something deeper, something heavier. This is the moment where the truth of what you have carried begins rising to the surface. Not to shame you, but to free you, chosen one. Heaven has watched the weight on your shoulders long before you even knew to call it a burden. You have walked through storms while pretending they were light rain. You have learned to breathe underwater without realizing you were drowning. And today, the weight finally becomes visible, not to crush you, but to release you. Because loneliness is not simply the absence of people, it is the presence of too much pain, too much memory, too much responsibility placed on a heart that feels things more deeply than most. You are not lonely because you are weak. You are lonely because you have carried more than anyone ever understood. You have been the strong one for too long. You have been the listener, the healer, the silent warrior who wipes away tears before they fall. And in that strength, others forgot that you needed someone too. There were nights where the silence of your room felt like an echoing hollow, stretching out toward a future you weren't sure you would reach. You held your own heart together like shattered glass pressed into trembling hands. And yet, you kept walking, even when relationships failed you, when friends drifted, when family misunderstood you, when promises were broken. Still you walked. You didn't collapse. You didn't surrender. You didn't vanish into the shadows that tried to swallow you. Even in your loneliness, there was an unyielding fire in you. And this, chosen one, is what heaven has been watching. Every sigh you tried to hide, every moment you played strong so no one would worry, every time you said, "I'm fine," while your spirit trembled inside you, every battle you endured silently because you didn't want to burden anyone. You think heaven didn't see. You think God didn't notice. You think your tears fell to the ground unseen. There are records of your grief that even you have forgotten. You have walked with a heart that aches to be understood, a spirit that longs for someone to match your depth, a soul that feels displaced in environments too shallow for your calling. The weight you've carried was never simple loneliness. It was the heaviness of purpose, misunderstood, vision unshared, courage unrecognized. Sometimes you wondered if something was wrong with you. You questioned why you love so deeply, why you sense things others overlook, why you get hurt more intensely, why you feel the spiritual temperature of every room. You thought you were sensitive. You thought you were dramatic. You thought you were too much. But chosen one, your sensitivity is spiritual radar. Your depth is divine wiring. Your ache is a sign of calling. Your loneliness has not been a prison, it has been an awakening. And heaven speaks into this moment with ancient clarity, as we are reminded through the writings of David in the book of Psalms, chapter 23, verse 4. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow, I will fear no evil. These words were not written for perfect days. They were written for nights like yours. They were written for the hearts that walk alone. They were written for the souls that carry burdens too heavy for ordinary people to understand. You have walked through your own valleys, valleys of rejection, disappointment, betrayal, abandonment, silence, unanswered prayers, shattered expectations. You have walked through them with trembling steps. But you walked. You did not fear the darkness, even when you felt it creeping close. And though you thought you were alone, these words remind you, you were never walking unsupported. The unseen was holding you up even when your knees wanted to buckle. This loneliness did not break you. It refined you. It stripped away illusions. It revealed who was real and who was temporary. It taught you the language of your own soul. It strengthened your discernment until you could feel the difference between those who drain you and those who are truly sent to you. It sculpted your spirit in ways you will only understand later. And now, as November 16th approaches, heaven begins to shift the weight, not by removing your calling, but by removing what was never meant to rest on your shoulders in the first place. You are stepping into a season where what you carry will not isolate you anymore. It will attract what aligns with you. The weight is not disappearing, it is transforming. The pressure you feel is not punishment, it is the breaking open of destiny. You move from the weight you've carried into the strange, sacred understanding that your loneliness was never a punishment. It was a calling, a summoning, a deliberate separation orchestrated not to isolate you, but to shape you. Chosen one. You were pulled away from the noise because you were meant to hear something that could only be revealed in the quiet. And though it felt like abandonment, it was actually alignment. This season where you felt misplaced was heaven's way of removing you from hands that would have mishandled you. Every door that shut was protection, not rejection. Every person who left created the space needed for the destiny that's approaching. What felt like emptiness was really incubation. What felt like stillness was breakthrough being formed behind the scenes. You were not being hidden from something. You were being hidden for something. There is a pattern in the lives of the chosen. Separation always precedes elevation. Look closely at your story, and you will see it: the retreat, the silence, the emotional distance, the spiritual heaviness. These were not signs that you were losing yourself. They were signs you were being called deeper. When heaven is preparing someone for destiny, the first thing it does is pull them away from distractions, illusions, and attachments that would contaminate the mission. You thought loneliness meant you were falling behind. But the truth is, it was evidence that you were being pulled ahead. You were removed from circles that could not contain your spirit. You were disconnected from people who could not handle your anointing. You were separated from environments that would have suffocated your calling. And though you mourned these losses, heaven celebrated your readiness. Because the chosen ones are never trained in the crowd, they are trained in the wilderness. The quiet places become classrooms. The stillness becomes instruction. And the emptiness becomes a canvas where God begins drawing the first lines of destiny. You are in that place now. And though the world sees isolation, heaven sees consecration. And in this sacred quiet, the Spirit speaks through the prophet Jeremiah in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 33, verse 3. Call to me, and I will answer you, and show you great and mighty things which you do not know. These ancient words do not merely echo, they activate. They reveal the truth that your loneliness was an invitation, a sacred pull into deeper revelation. You were not meant to fill this space with people. You were meant to fill it with divine understanding. Even now, you are beginning to see it. You sense things others overlook. You feel spiritual shifts before they happen. You notice patterns, warnings, whispers, alignments. That sensitivity you once resented is actually spiritual sight. That ache you mistook for emptiness is actually discernment waking up. That restlessness in your spirit is destiny trying to speak. Your loneliness became the tool heaven used to tune your frequency. You hear differently now. You perceive differently now. You see beyond the surface now. This is why you never fit in. This is why you felt out of place in conversations that lacked depth, in relationships that lacked purpose, in environments that lacked truth. You were being shaped into someone who cannot be held by shallow spaces. And now, something begins to rise in you, an awareness, a clarity, a spiritual knowing that wasn't there before. You start recognizing that everything you thought was taken from you was actually being rearranged. You recognize that nothing was lost. It was all preparation. Every delay was divine timing. Every silence was spiritual alignment. Every empty room was holy ground, wrapped in disguise. Chosen one. Your calling is awakening. Your purpose is stirring. Your isolation is ending. Your spirit is stepping into understanding. But before you move to the next part of your journey, heaven asks for one thing: agreement. Your voice is powerful. Your declaration matters. Your alignment opens spiritual doors that have been waiting for your yes. So here is your call to action. Simple but sacred. Comment, "I receive this." And here is why. Because when you write these words, you are not just typing. You are aligning your spirit with the truth that has been spoken over you. You are declaring that you are ready for understanding, ready for revelation, ready for the miracles that loneliness has been preparing you for. These 3 words become a seal, a spiritual signature, a declaration that you are stepping into clarity with courage instead of fear. Your loneliness is not ending by accident. It is ending because you have stepped into a new level of awareness that makes isolation unnecessary. You are moving into a season of purpose where your spirit will finally feel at home. And this awakening is the first sign that the miracles approaching you are closer than you think. You move now into the first stirring of change, the moment where Miracle 1 begins awakening inside you. And though nothing around you may look different yet, something within you is shifting quietly, steadily, undeniably. This is the restoration of inner strength you thought had drained away. The strength you believed you lost during the long nights of loneliness and the heavy seasons of silence. But strength never disappears in the chosen, it only goes dormant, waiting for divine timing to call it back to life. Chosen one, you have walked through months, even years, feeling as if your energy was slowly leaking out of you. Every disappointment carved a little deeper. Every heartbreak dimmed the flame a little more. You carried emotional exhaustion disguised as self-control, spiritual weariness hidden beneath determination, and a tired soul concealed behind a brave face. You kept going because stopping was never an option. You kept holding on because letting go would have shattered too much. You kept rising because something in you refused to die. But even the strongest hearts eventually start to tremble. Even the bravest spirits begin to feel the cracks. And you, in your quiet strength, came to believe that perhaps the fire inside you was fading for good. You wondered why motivation disappeared, why passion felt distant, why your drive didn't hit the way it used to. You thought something was wrong with you, but nothing was wrong. Your spirit was conserving its power for a coming season that would demand a completely different version of you. And now, the shift begins. It starts almost imperceptibly, like breath returning to lungs that didn't realize they were empty. A flicker of hope, a moment of clarity, a sudden sense of, I can do this, rising out of nowhere. The heaviness that used to sit on your chest begins to loosen. The fog that clouded your mind starts to clear. The numbness that swallowed your emotions begins to melt. This is not coincidence. This is Miracle 1, breaking the surface of your life. Strength is returning, not the old strength, not the wounded strength, not the exhausted strength, but a renewed strength, a different kind, a deeper kind, a strength born from everything you survived, everything you learned, everything you endured in silence, a strength shaped by loneliness but not defined by it. And heaven speaks into this moment through ancient truth, as the apostle reminds us in the letter of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. These words are no longer just scripture, they have become your lived experience. You have reached the end of your own power. And now, divine strength begins filling the places your human strength could no longer support. This strength is not loud. It doesn't roar. It doesn't announce itself. It rises slowly, steadily, like the dawn after a night that felt endless. It is the kind of strength that rebuilds you from the inside out. Thought first, then emotion, then action. You start noticing yourself standing a little taller. You start realizing that what once overwhelmed you no longer holds the same power. You begin facing situations that previously drained you with newfound courage. And this strength, this Miracle 1, is going to touch every part of your being. It will steady your emotions, calming storms that used to swallow you whole. It will fortify your spirit, making you resilient where you were once fragile. It will sharpen your mind, giving you clarity where confusion once lived. It will energize your purpose, pushing you toward the future you're meant to build. You are becoming unshakable, not because life gets easier, but because your spirit grows stronger. What used to break you will no longer have access to you. What used to destabilize you will no longer weaken you. And what used to drain you will no longer influence your energy. This strength will even reshape your relationships. Where you once tolerated what drained you, you will now require what nourishes you. Where you once accepted being overlooked, you will now demand authenticity. Where you once carried others beyond your capacity, you will now protect your own spirit with wisdom and discernment. This is the strength loneliness prepared you for. This miracle does not arrive with fireworks, it arrives with alignment. A shift in mindset, a remembrance of identity, a reclaiming of purpose. You are stepping into the version of yourself you were always meant to be. The version buried under years of survival mode. Chosen one. Inner strength is not returning by accident. It is returning because heaven has begun activating the next chapter of your destiny. This is the foundation upon which the next miracles will stand. Without this restored strength, the doors that are about to open would overwhelm you. But with it, You will walk through them with confidence and divine stability. You step now into the unfolding of miracle. 2. The quiet, gentle, almost imperceptible shift that begins forming in the unseen realm of relationships. And this miracle approaches like dawn breaking over a long frozen landscape, slowly at first. Then, all at once, chosen one, you have endured connections that drained you, conversations that left you empty, relationships that asked for everything while offering very little in return. You have poured from your spirit until the well ran dry, hoping someone would finally notice the depth of your heart. But the truth is this: heaven has never allowed the wrong people to stay. No matter how deeply you tried to love them, your loneliness did not come from lack. It came from divine protection. You were being shielded from those who would have mishandled your heart. Your calling, your destiny. This is the season where relationships begin to shift, not because you force them to, but because heaven rearranges the spiritual landscape around you, and you will begin noticing it. The people who once drained your spirit feel heavy now. The ones aligned with your purpose start to appear like lanterns in a dark valley. Imagine your life as a great river. Some people were meant to step in only for a moment, cooling your spirit but never staying. Others were meant to drift beside you for a season, then branch off into different streams. What you are heading into now, chosen one, is the convergence, the place where destiny brings to your river those who were designed to flow with you, not against you. Heaven speaks into this moment with ancient clarity, according to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 17, verse 17. A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. These words breathe a promise. Heaven does not send temporary people to fill eternal roles. Those coming toward you now are not passing shadows, they are pillars. But before this miracle becomes fully visible, relationships must be sifted. You may feel distance forming where closeness once lived, and closeness forming where distance once lingered. Do not fear it. This is the divine gardener, pruning branches that no longer bear fruit. This is heaven preparing the soil, so new relationships can grow without the weeds of past disappointments choking them out. Chosen one. Your heart is being prepared for people who speak your spiritual language, those who feel like sunrise after years of cloudy days, those whose presence feels like shelter, nourishment, alignment. These are the ones whose spirits recognize yours. These are the ones who will hold your heart without trembling hands. You will meet people who see your calling without being intimidated by it. You will meet people who understand your depth without asking you to shrink. You will meet people who match your loyalty, your energy, your purpose, and some will come in unexpected ways, through unexpected doors, at unexpected times. Divine relationships don't arrive through logic, they arrive through destiny. But understand this, for these new connections to enter, you must remain open-hearted. Do not let past wounds create future walls. Do not let old betrayals teach you to fear new love. Do not let the echoes of what was convince you that nothing new is coming. Loneliness may have taught you to stand alone, but destiny will teach you to walk with the right ones. Sometimes, hearts grow weary, waiting for people who can finally understand them. And sometimes, when you wait long enough, you begin to believe your heart asks for too much. But you, chosen one, do not ask for too much. You simply ask for something rare. And the rare things of heaven take time to prepare. Now, with a sincere spirit and gentle humility, let me speak to you as one guiding a soul ready for breakthrough. If these messages are nourishing you, helping you rise, helping you see your path with new clarity, then consider supporting this journey, like a lamp shining in the night. Every small act of support keeps the flame alive. If you feel led, like and share so others can find what you have found here. Subscribe if this voice has become part of your spiritual growth, and if your heart feels moved. Even a small donation becomes a seed, one that helps this message continue, reaching the hearts that desperately need it. Not out of obligation, not out of pressure, but as a gentle offering, like placing one stone on an altar, saying, "This helped me. I want to help someone else." Anu, you are walking into relationships that will feel like home. You are stepping into a season where your heart will finally exhale. The loneliness that once echoed so loudly in your spirit will quiet as heaven brings forward the souls who were always meant to walk with you. You step now into the unfolding of Miracle 3, the miracle of provision rising from unexpected places. The miracle that begins dissolving financial strain, emotional scarcity, and the fear of not enough. Chosen one, you have walked through seasons where you felt like you were carrying the weight of survival on your shoulders. You know what it feels like to stretch what little you have. You know what it feels like to hope for a breakthrough while trying to hide the trembling in your spirit. You know what it means to pray quietly. God, please make a way, even when you had no idea how that way could possibly appear. But hear this clearly, heaven has not forgotten your faithfulness. Every sacrifice, every moment, you chose integrity over convenience. Every time you gave, even when you barely had enough for yourself, these moments have been counted, and they have been seen. You have been faithful in the valley, and now you are stepping toward the provision prepared for the mountain. Miracle 3 does not arrive like a flood. It begins like a shift in the air, a sudden idea, a new opportunity, a small open door you didn't expect, a conversation that plants a seed, a connection that unlocks a path. At first, you may not notice it. It may look ordinary. It may feel subtle. But heaven often begins miracles in small forms, so only the faithful recognize them. You have endured seasons where resources felt thin, times when you watched others flourish while you battled to stay afloat. Moments where you wondered why you were facing scarcity while you were trying so hard to live with a pure heart. What you didn't see was that heaven was not punishing you, it was protecting you from mishandling abundance before you were ready for it. Heaven speaks into this moment with unwavering truth. The voice of God thundered in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 18. It is He who gives you power to get wealth. These words are not merely a promise. They are a reminder that your provision is not tied to luck and circumstance or chance. It is tied to divine empowerment. When God breathes over your efforts, even small seeds become forests. And now, the breath is beginning to blow again. You will notice ideas coming to you, ideas that carry the scent of opportunity. You will feel nudges to explore paths you previously dismissed. You will find doors opening where you once found only walls. Provisions that were delayed are beginning to align. Funds you forgot about are returning. Projects you gave up on begin resurfacing with new life. Income streams that were blocked are loosening. This is not coincidence, this is orchestration. You have stepped into a season where you will no longer chase, you will attract. No longer worry, you will trust. No longer survive, you will build. Provision is not just coming to you, it is coming through you. Because you are about to operate from a place of clarity, strength, and purpose rather than fear. Miracle 3 will affect more than your finances. It will touch your confidence, reminding you of your capabilities. It will touch your mindset, removing scarcity thinking. It will touch your emotional world, freeing you from the anxiety of lack. It will touch your future, giving you the ability to dream boldly again. You will begin setting boundaries around your time and energy, recognizing that your skills, gifts, and spirit carry value. You will stop engaging in cycles where others take while giving nothing in return. You will no longer shrink yourself to fit environments that cannot afford your presence. You are entering a season of divine compensation where what was withheld will be restored, and what was stolen will return multiplied. But before this miracle fully manifests, heaven asks for something small yet significant: alignment. When you speak into what heaven is doing, you open the flow wider. When you claim what God is offering, you step fully into its reality. So here is your moment of alignment. Comment 444. And understand this. This is not just a number. This is a declaration. This is a symbol. This is you telling heaven, I am ready for provision. I am ready for overflow. I am ready for the miracle meant for me. And because you are, you have endured the desert long enough. You have carried scarcity long enough. You have lived in survival long enough. Now, chosen one, you step into a season where provision meets purpose, where effort meets blessing, where faith meets fulfillment. Miracle 3 has begun, and soon, you will not only feel the shift, you will see it. You move now into the unveiling of Miracle 4, the moment where clarity begins to descend into your life, like light breaking through a fog that overstayed its welcome. For so long, you walked through seasons where everything felt blurry, where people's intentions were hidden behind masks, where motives were wrapped in confusion, and where your spirit sensed danger long before your mind could explain it. You felt unsettled without knowing why. You felt drained without understanding the source. This is a symbol. This is you telling heaven, I am ready for provision. I am ready for overflow. I am ready for the miracle meant for me. And because you are, you have endured the desert long enough. You have carried scarcity long enough. You have lived in survival long enough. Now, chosen one, you step into a season where provision meets purpose, where effort meets blessing, where faith meets fulfillment. Miracle 3 has begun. Miracle 4 descends like a sudden gust of wind that blows away everything that was clouding your vision. This is the season where God exposes what was done in the shadows. This is the moment where motives are revealed. This is when the quiet whispers in your spirit finally make sense. And clarity, when it comes, does not merely illuminate the truth, it liberates you from weight you didn't even realize you were carrying. You will begin to see people for who they really are, not who they pretended to be, not who you wished they were, not who circumstance forced them to appear as. True nature always rises to the surface in seasons of spiritual shift. You will notice it in subtle ways. At first, the way someone's energy feels different, the way conversations leave a strange aftertaste, the way your spirit withdraws without warning from certain individuals. Your intuition, instinct, becomes unmistakably loud. The same sensitivity that others told you was too much now becomes your greatest asset. You begin recognizing patterns, cycles, Hidden intentions. You begin connecting dots that were once scattered across the landscape of your life. Heaven has always spoken softly to you, but now it speaks clearly. And into this moment of unfolding clarity, the Spirit spoke through the prophet Jeremiah in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 32, verse 19. Your eyes are open to all the ways of men. You reward each person according to their conduct and their deeds. These ancient words reveal a truth long overlooked. You do not see alone. Heaven sees with you. Heaven sees before you. Heaven reveals what your heart needs to know exactly when you need to know it. This is why you no longer tolerate certain behaviors, why conversations drain you faster than before, why certain presences make your spirit uneasy, why you feel prompted to distance yourself from people you once trusted. This is not paranoia. This is not fear. This is discernment awakening. Clarity is not always comfortable. Sometimes it shows you who was never really for you. Sometimes it exposes intentions you prayed weren't true. Sometimes it reveals that the loyalty you gave was never truly reciprocated. But understand this. Chosen one, revelation is not meant to break you, it is meant to free you. You are being released from connections that held you back, from relationships woven with hidden agendas, from influences that dimmed your light, from alliances that were never aligned with your destiny. Heaven is removing the final layers of illusion so you can walk into your future without dead weight tied to your ankles. This is the kind of clarity that heals not by erasing the past, but by illuminating it with understanding. You will finally see the strength in your boundaries. You will recognize the wisdom in your sensitivity. You will honor the intuition you once dismissed. And with each revelation, you step closer to the version of yourself you were always meant to become. Miracle 4 transforms the internal landscape of your life. It aligns your discernment, sharpens your vision, clears your mind, steadies your heart. What once confused you now becomes simple. What once overwhelmed you now becomes manageable. What once felt chaotic now begins to form a pattern you finally understand. You are moving into a season where nothing hidden can survive in your presence, where deception collapses before it reaches you, where the motives of others reveal themselves instantly, where your intuition becomes your compass and your clarity becomes your shield. Chosen one. This miracle is not dramatic, but it is powerful. It is not loud, but it is life-changing. It is not flashy, but it is foundational. You are stepping into the kind of clarity that builds unshakable confidence, the kind that prepares you for deeper connections, greater assignments, higher callings, the kind that ensures you will never again be entangled in what was sent to drain you. Miracle 4 has descended upon your life, and the fog that once surrounded your spirit is lifting for good. You step now into the rising of Miracle 5, the moment where opportunity begins moving toward you with quiet precision, like a door you didn't know existed, slowly swinging open on hinges oiled by destiny. Chosen one. This is the season where heaven aligns circumstances, timing, and connections to pull you closer to the purpose buried deep within you. And though the opportunity may arrive gently, almost humbly, its impact will be anything but small. For too long, you have stood in places where your gifts were overlooked, where your potential was underestimated, where you felt like a powerful flame trapped inside a hidden lantern. You have carried ideas that never had room to breathe, visions that felt too big for your surroundings, and dreams that seemed out of reach because the environment was too small to support them. But that is changing now. Miracle 5 rises like a bridge, stretching out before you, steady, unexpected, divinely timed. This is not an accidental opportunity. It is not random. It is not something you stumbled into. It is something heaven has been crafting behind the scenes, shaping through delays, disappointments, redirections, and moments that once felt like dead ends. Every no was pushing you toward this yes. Every closed door was guiding you toward the one designed specifically for you. You will begin to notice it in subtle ways first. A conversation that sparks an idea, a chance meeting that feels divinely orchestrated, a sudden shift in motivation, a door that opens with no logical explanation. This miracle arrives not to overwhelm you, but to position you gently, firmly, purposefully into the path written for you, long before you understood your calling. Into this moment, heaven speaks with ancient authority, as Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 7, "Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you." These words were never meant to be metaphor alone. They were meant to be instruction. They were meant to reveal that opportunity is not discovered through desperation. It is revealed through alignment, faith, and readiness. And you, chosen one, are finally ready. You are stepping into a season where what once felt impossible now begins to feel attainable, where dreams that once intimidated you now feel natural, where ideas you once pushed aside now return with clarity and direction. This is because Miracle 5 is not just about the opportunity itself. It is about the version of you who is rising to meet it. Opportunities meant for the old, you were withheld. Opportunities meant for the healed, you are now arriving. Opportunities meant for the awakened, you are unfolding. You are no longer operating from survival mode. You are stepping into purpose mode. This opportunity may not look dramatic at first. Some miracles come disguised as small beginnings, like a seed, like a whisper, like a single step that leads to a path you could not see before. Do not dismiss what looks small. Small beginnings often carry the largest breakthroughs. You will feel doors opening inside you as well. Mental doors, emotional doors, spiritual doors. You will begin believing in your capabilities again. You will start dreaming without fear. You will sense momentum building around you. Your spirit knows something is shifting. Your intuition feels the pull. Your heart is preparing for elevation. Miracle 5 is not only about opportunities coming toward you, it is also about opportunities you are rising to meet. You will feel courage returning, the kind that pushes you forward instead of holding you back. You will feel a boldness that surprises even you. You will speak up where you once stayed silent. Take steps where you once hesitated. Pursue paths where you once felt unworthy. The doors opening in this season are not ordinary doors, they are destiny doors. And when heaven opens a door, no force on earth can close it. This opportunity may expand your career. It may elevate your gifts. It may bring financial growth. It may lead you to new environments, new partnerships, new missions, or it may simply reconnect you with the version of yourself you lost along the way, the visionary, the dreamer, the creator, the leader within you, whatever form it takes. Understand this: Miracle 5 rises because you are prepared. It rises because you have been refined. It rises because heaven trusts you with what is coming. And as you walk into this new opening, You will feel the loneliness that once clung to you begin to slip away, not instantly, not dramatically, but steadily, like shadows fading under morning light. You step now into the unfolding of Miracle 6, the miracle of healing reaching into places you tried to forget, places you learned to numb, places you believed would remain wounded forever. Chosen one. This is not surface healing. This is not temporary relief. This is the deep, soul-level restoration that touches the memories you never speak aloud, the disappointments you buried under strength, the heartbreaks you pretended no longer mattered. For years, you've been carrying wounds that never had the chance to breathe. You learned to function with pain still inside you. You learned to smile while stitching yourself together in the dark. You became so good at surviving that others never realized how broken you were beneath the surface. They saw resilience. Heaven saw a soul whispering, "I need restoration." And now, heaven answers. Miracle 6 unfolds like gentle rain falling over a scorched field. It doesn't arrive with violence, it arrives with tenderness. Healing begins with subtle shifts, emotions surfacing that you long suppressed, memories rising not to torment you, but to release you, old pain dissolving as if a weight you carried for years suddenly becomes too light to feel. Your spirit knows this change has begun. You breathe differently. You think differently. You respond differently. And though you may not realize it yet, healing is already reshaping who you are becoming. Heaven speaks into this tender moment with undeniable authority, as was spoken in the ancient writings of the book of Isaiah, chapter 53, verse 5. By his wounds we are healed. These words do not merely declare possibility, they declare identity. They declare inheritance. They declare that healing is not something you earn, but something already extended to you, waiting for the moment your heart becomes ready to receive it. And now, that moment has come. Healing, real healing, often begins with discomfort, a stirring, a shaking, a resurfacing of emotions you tried to bury. This is not regression, this is release. The things coming up are not returning to hurt you, they are rising so they can leave you. Pain leaves through expression. Trauma leaves through awareness. Wounds leave through truth. You will notice forgiveness beginning to feel possible, not because others deserve it, but because you deserve peace. You will notice anger loosening its grip, not because the past changes, but because you are changing. You will notice your heart softening, not in weakness, but in strength born from understanding. You'll begin to see that the people who harmed you were operating from their own brokenness. You'll begin to realize that you were stronger than every moment that tried to shatter you. You'll begin to understand why certain relationships had to break for your spirit to be rebuilt. Healing is not forgetting, it is transforming. It is reclaiming. It is rising. And it affects every part of your life. Your relationships begin to shift you. No longer tolerate connections that reopen old wounds. Your self-worth strengthens you. Stop accepting less than you deserve. Your peace deepens, you become unshaken by what once destabilized you. Your voice becomes clearer, you speak truth without trembling. Healing turns your scars into wisdom. Healing turns your tears into clarity. Healing turns your past into preparation. But for this healing to fully anchor into your spirit, heaven invites you to seal this moment, not with fear, not with shame, but with agreement. Because healing responds to acknowledgement. Healing increases through acceptance. Healing deepens when your heart says, "Yes, I am ready." So here is your call, short, simple, powerful. Comment. Heal me. And this is why you write it. You declare not that you are weak, but that you are willing. You declare not that you are broken, but that you are becoming whole. You declare not that you are lost, but that you are ready to rise. These two words become a doorway, a key, a spiritual anchor, because the moment you speak them, you stop fighting pain alone, and you begin allowing heaven to carry the part you were never meant to hold by yourself. And when this healing takes root, truly takes root, you will feel parts of yourself returning. Joy you forgot. Peace you barely remember. Hope you thought was gone. Your heart will feel lighter, your mind clearer, your spirit stronger. Miracle 6 is not loud, but it is life-changing. It is not instant, but it is inevitable. It is not partial, but it is complete. Chosen one. Healing has begun. And nothing, no memory, no scar, no old wound can stop what heaven has already set in motion. You step now into the unveiling of Miracle 7, the miracle of divine partnership. The kind of connection that does not drain you, but completes you, strengthens you, and walks with you into the next chapter of your calling. Chosen one. This is not ordinary companionship. This is not a temporary presence or a fleeting emotional spark. This is the kind of relationship heaven orchestrates with careful precision, placing two destinies on a collision course at exactly the right moment. For so long, you have walked alone with a strength that others rarely recognized. You carried both the weight of your dreams and the echoes of your disappointments. You loved with sincerity only to be met with half-hearted affection. You poured deeply into people who held shallow cups, and you learned, slowly and painfully, that not everyone has the capacity to meet the depth of your spirit. But loneliness did something extraordinary to you. It clarified what your heart truly needs. It stripped away illusions. It removed the surface-level desires and left only the truth. Now, Miracle 7 begins to unfold, quiet but unmistakable, like the sound of footsteps approaching across a long and empty hallway. Heaven has someone prepared for you, someone whose spirit recognizes yours, someone whose presence feels like returning to a place you've never been, yet somehow remember. This connection may come softly, like dawn creeping over a sleeping landscape, or suddenly, like a door swinging open into a room filled with warm light. But either way, it will feel right, not because it is perfect, but because it is aligned. And into this moment, heaven speaks through the writings of Ruth. Chapter 1, verse 16. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. And into this moment, heaven speaks through the writings of Ruth. Chapter 1, verse 16. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. They are not coming to complete you. They are coming to align with you. They are not entering to take from you. They are entering to build with you. This miracle will touch many areas of your life. You will feel emotionally safe in a way you haven't felt in years. You will communicate without fear of being misunderstood. You will trust without feeling like you're risking your heart. You will grow without being asked to shrink. These ancient words are not merely romantic, they are prophetic. They reveal the heart of covenant connection, the kind of partnership heaven blesses, the kind of loyalty that does not crumble under pressure, You are stepping into a season where relationships are no longer built on convenience, chemistry, or circumstance, but on calling. The person approaching your life is not arriving to fill a void. They are arriving to walk a path. But hear this gently. This miracle requires an open heart. You cannot step into divine partnership with walls built from old wounds. Healing is making space in you. Strength is preparing you. Purpose is guiding you. And love, real, mutual, destiny-shaped love is approaching. And now, chosen one, let me speak to you sincerely, not as a voice of prophecy, but as a companion in your growth. If these messages have been guiding you, strengthening you, lifting you through the storm, then consider supporting this journey. Your like is not just a gesture, it's a ripple. Your share is not just a click, it's a light reaching someone else's darkness. Your subscription is not about numbers, it's about staying connected to the voice that's helping you rise. And if your heart feels moved to donate, even a small seed becomes a lantern along this path, helping more souls find refuge, clarity, and strength, just as you have, not out of pressure, not out of obligation, but out of shared purpose, out of gratitude for the light you've received and the desire to pass it forward. Chosen one. Miracle 7 is closer than you think. The loneliness that once felt like a curse is becoming the very soil where this divine connection will take root. You will recognize this person not by intensity, not by chaos, not by confusion, but by peace, alignment, and a sense of spiritual rightness that needs no explanation. Partnership is coming, love is coming, alignment is coming, and when it arrives, you'll understand why all the others had to fall away. You step now into the arrival of Miracle 8, the lifting of loneliness itself, the dissolving of the heaviness that once shadowed your days, the gentle but unstoppable emergence of a new identity shaped not by isolation but by divine companionship. Chosen one. This is the moment where everything you've endured begins to make sense. The emptiness, the longing, the quiet seasons where you felt invisible, none of it was wasted. All of it was preparation for the transformation you are stepping into now. Loneliness, for so long, felt like a cloak you couldn't remove. You wore it at work, at home, in crowds, even among people who claimed to understand you. It followed you into your thoughts and curled itself around your heart at night. But loneliness was never meant to be your permanent companion. It was a teacher, one that is now stepping aside because its purpose in your life has been fulfilled. Miracle 8 arrives like the breaking of a long, silent winter. You feel it subtly at first, like sunlight warming a frozen field. You notice your thoughts becoming more hopeful. You feel your heart expanding instead of shrinking. You feel connection where you once felt emptiness. Without forcing anything, without chasing anything, without bending yourself for acceptance, you begin to feel whole. You are not the same person who entered this season of loneliness. You are wiser. You are stronger. You are more spiritually attuned. You are more grounded in your identity. And because of this, heaven can now trust you with companionship, both divine and earthly, that aligns with your true purpose. This miracle is not just about people entering your life. It is about the shift inside of you that makes space for connection without fear. It is about the restoration of your emotional landscape. It is about the return of joy, the settling of peace, the strengthening of your internal foundation. Into this sacred moment, The apostle reminds us in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 38, "For I am convinced that neither death nor life, nor anything else in all creation, will be able to separate us from the love of God." These ancient words echo through your spirit now, reminding you that divine companionship was always present, even when human companionship was not. You were never abandoned. You were never empty. You were simply being shaped to recognize love in its truest form. As Miracle 8 settles over your life, you will begin to feel a profound shift. Where you once felt unseen, you will now feel understood. Where you once felt forgotten, you will now feel remembered. Where you once felt disconnected, you will now feel woven back into the fabric of purpose. The presence of God will feel nearer. The whispers of intuition will feel clearer. The sense of belonging will feel stronger, and people aligned, purpose-filled, spiritually compatible people will begin entering your life with perfect timing, not to fill a void, but to add to the abundance that is already growing within you. But the real miracle, the deepest miracle, is this: you will no longer fear being alone. You will no longer see solitude as emptiness. You will no longer question your worth when you walk through quiet seasons. Loneliness once felt like an identity. Now it becomes only a memory. Your spirit is expanding. Your heart is awakening. Your soul is stepping into fullness. This miracle transforms you from the inside out. It shifts how you engage with the world. It alters the energy you carry. It changes the way others perceive you. People will feel drawn to your presence, not because you seek attention, but because healed spirits carry an undeniable light. And this is the beauty of Miracle 8. You do not chase connection. Connection finds you. You do not beg for love. Love recognizes you. You do not cling to people. People align with you. You stand rooted, whole, grounded, complete, and from that place, companionship flows naturally. Chosen one. This season marks the beginning of a new identity, not the lonely one, not the forgotten one, not the misunderstood one, but the one who walks with divine strength, divine companionship, divine alignment. Loneliness has served its purpose. It has shaped you, refined you, awakened you. Now it releases you. Miracle 8 has arrived, and with it, the beginning of a life where you walk, not in isolation, but in connection, fullness, and destiny. You step now into the intensifying of signs, the moment where heaven begins to speak in patterns, symbols, synchronicities, and spiritual confirmations that follow you like footprints glowing on the path ahead. Chosen one. This is not imagination. This is not coincidence. This is the language of the divine becoming louder, clearer, and more persistent, because you are stepping into a season where heaven refuses to let you miss what is coming. Loneliness once felt like an identity. Now it becomes only a memory. Your spirit is expanding. Your heart is awakening. Your soul is stepping into fullness. This miracle transforms you from the inside out. It shifts how you engage with the world. It alters the energy you carry. It changes the way others perceive you. People will feel drawn to your presence, not because you seek attention, but because healed spirits carry an undeniable light. For months, maybe even years, you have seen small signs but doubted them. You felt nudges that you brushed off as overthinking. You noticed patterns yet questioned whether they meant anything. But now, in this season, The signs are multiplying. They are aligning. They are becoming impossible to ignore. This is how heaven communicates when destiny is near. You will notice repeated numbers, symbols, dreams, repeated phrases that appear in conversations, songs, and unexpected moments. We are reminded through the words in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 28. I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your old men will dream dreams. Your young men will see visions. This scripture is not describing a distant future. It is describing your present reality. The Spirit is speaking to you. The signs around you are not random, they are fulfillment. Synchronicities increase when heaven is aligning what once felt scattered. Dreams intensify when your spirit is ready to receive direction. Intuition sharpens when your path is about to shift. And now, chosen one, everything around you is pointing toward the miracles unfolding in your life. You may find yourself waking up at specific hours for no reason. You may encounter the same message 3 or 4 times in a single day. You may hear your name, your calling, your purpose echoing through sermons, videos, conversations, and even strangers' words. This is spiritual confirmation, the kind that wraps your life like a thread, pulled gently by divine hands. You will feel it, not just in signs, but in your body. A sudden peace where anxiety once lived, a sudden clarity where confusion once sat, a sudden shift of energy that tells you something is coming, something is changing. And here is the truth. The more aligned you become, the louder the signs grow. Heaven amplifies what you are finally ready to notice. These signs do not come to entertain you. They come to prepare you. They come to guide you. They come to confirm that what's unfolding in your life is orchestrated, not accidental. It is no longer about waiting for miracles. It is about recognizing they are already surrounding you. Some signs will appear externally: numbers, symbols, conversations. Others will appear internally: a knowing, a nudge, a conviction, a pull. Pay attention to the people who suddenly come back into your life. Pay attention to the opportunities that appear without warning. Pay attention to the shifts happening in your emotions. When heaven moves, your spirit always feels it before your eyes see it. And now, in this moment, your spirit is awake, alert, aware. This heightened sensitivity is not weakness, it is spiritual intelligence. This awareness is not coincidence, it is calibration. The signs will not stop. The confirmations will not fade. The alignment will not quiet itself, because you are stepping into the part of your journey where heaven guides you step by step, sign by sign, whisper by whisper. But now, chosen one, heaven invites you to seal your awareness, not with fear, not with doubt, but with recognition. Because when you acknowledge the signs, you step into agreement with the one sending them. So here is your declaration of alignment. Comment 555. And the reason you write it is simple. This number becomes your acknowledgement that you see the signs, that you hear the whispers, that your spirit is listening. It is a symbol to heaven that you are awake, ready, aligned, and paying attention to what is being shown to you. Chosen one. The signs are intensifying because your destiny is accelerating. Nothing about this moment is random. Nothing about your awakening is accidental. You are being guided boldly, clearly, unmistakably into the miracles that have already begun manifesting in your life. You step now into the collapse of resistance, the moment where every dark force, every spiritual weight, every unseen pressure that tried to restrain you begins to lose its grip. Chosen one, this is the season where the enemy falls back. Not because the battle becomes easier, but because you have become stronger. What once intimidated you now trembles in your presence. What once whispered fear now flees from your clarity. What once stood firmly in your path now crumbles under the authority rising inside you. For so long, the enemy fought you in subtle ways, through discouragement, through confusion, through exhaustion, through people who were never meant to carry your heart, through situations that drained your spirit while pretending to be harmless. There were days when it felt like something invisible pressed down on your chest, stealing your breath, nights where your mind churned with anxious storms, moments where you questioned your purpose, your identity, your worth. These were not coincidences. These were battles, and you fought them quietly, faithfully, persistently. But here is the truth heaven now reveals. The enemy targeted you fiercely because of the calling on your life. Darkness does not waste energy on the ordinary. It only fights those who carry light. It only attacks those who are rising. It only resists those who threaten its territory. And you, chosen one, have always been a threat, even when you didn't know it. Your loneliness was not just an emotional struggle, it was a spiritual battlefield. Your heaviness was not random, it was warfare. Your fatigue was not weakness, it was resistance pushing against destiny. And now, as your strength returns, as clarity descends into your spirit, as your alignment with heaven deepens, the enemy begins to retreat. Heaven speaks into this moment with undeniable force. As the apostle wrote in the letter of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 12, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world." These words are not poetic, they are truth. They reveal that your struggle was never with people, never with circumstances, never with coincidence. You were wrestling unseen forces that feared your awakening. And now, as you rise, they fall back, because they cannot hold what heaven has already claimed. They cannot occupy ground that belongs to your destiny. They cannot silence a voice God Himself is strengthening. This retreat is not quiet, you will feel it. You will feel the weight lifting from your chest. You will feel thoughts that once spiraled, now becoming calm. You will feel peace in moments that once triggered fear. You will feel confidence where doubt used to live. Even the atmosphere around you will shift. Certain environments will no longer drain you. Certain people will no longer influence your emotions. Certain temptations will lose their power over you. This is what happens when the enemy loses access. Darkness cannot touch a heart covered in clarity. It cannot deceive a mind awakened to truth. It cannot manipulate a spirit aligned with purpose. Miracle by miracle, section by section, heaven has been preparing you for this moment. Strength returned, discernment sharpened, healing anchored, purpose awakened. Now you stand in a place where resistance collapses, where spiritual interference dissolves, where the invisible battles that once tormented you no longer hold authority. The enemy falls back because you are no longer an easy target. You are no longer naive. You are no longer spiritually asleep. You are no longer emotionally fragile. You are fortified. You are aware. You are armed with truth. And when a chosen one becomes aware of their identity, darkness loses its strategy. You will start noticing breakthroughs that once felt blocked. You will start seeing progress in areas that were stagnant for years. You will feel momentum pushing you forward instead of forces pulling you back. This is the moment where your spiritual power becomes visible in your physical life. The enemy falls back from your relationships. No more cycles of heartbreak. It falls back from your mind. No more endless anxiety loops. It falls back from your path. No more hidden traps disguised as opportunities. Every step you take now shakes the ground. Every choice you make now weakens the enemy's influence. Every word you speak now carries authority. Because you have risen. Because you have seen truth. Because you have endured the fire and come out refined. The battle is not over, but the balance has shifted. You are no longer the wounded one. You are no longer the hunted one. You are no longer the vulnerable one. You are the one darkness fears. You are the one heaven backs. You are the one walking in authority, chosen one. The enemy is falling back because you are moving forward with unstoppable momentum. You step now into the moment where your crown is no longer waiting on the horizon. It is being placed upon your spirit with deliberate, divine precision. This is the section where you begin stepping fully into your identity. Not as someone barely surviving the storms of your life, but as someone chosen, refined, and commissioned with purpose. Chosen one. This is where destiny stops whispering and begins declaring. For years, you walked through life feeling like your greatness was hidden beneath layers of pain, disappointment, and misunderstanding. You felt the weight of potential inside you, but you didn't know how to reach it. You sensed you were meant for more, but the path remained obscured by clouds of doubt and the noise of other people's opinions. Yet through every setback, every heartbreak, every wilderness season, heaven was preparing you, not punishing you. Now, like a warrior emerging from battle with clarity in their eyes, you begin to see who you truly are. Not broken, not forgotten, not small, but chosen, but appointed, but crowned. This section is the awakening of your identity, a revelation of who you were always meant to be beneath the layers of fear and the echoes of wounds that once defined you. When heaven calls someone chosen, it is not because they are perfect. It is because they are willing, because their heart remains open even after it has been bruised, because their spirit continues to rise even after it has been pushed down. You are stepping into that revelation now. Heaven speaks into this moment through the writings of 1 Peter, chapter 2, verse 9. You are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession. These ancient words are not distant. They are describing you, your identity, your calling, your crown. You are stepping into a season where you will no longer shrink yourself to make others comfortable, where you will no longer apologize for your power, where you will no longer silence your voice so others can speak louder. Your crown is not symbolic. It is the authority you carry. It is the wisdom you have earned. It is the mantle placed upon you through fire and refinement. This crown does not rest on perfection. It rests on resilience. It rests on endurance. It rests on the unwavering truth that you have survived everything that tried to destroy you. And as this crown settles upon you, you begin to realize something profound. Every season of loneliness was shaping your leadership. Every season of heartbreak was widening your compassion. Every season of waiting was deepening your discernment. You were not being delayed, you were being developed. Now, the world around you will begin to respond differently. People will sense your confidence before you speak. Opportunities will recognize the authority you carry. Environments that once drained you will no longer have access to you. You are stepping into your crown with humility, not arrogance, with gratitude, not pride, with wisdom, not impulsiveness, because you understand what it cost you to get here. Your crown is made of every tear you wiped alone, every night you wrestled with fear, every prayer you whispered through trembling lips, every moment you kept walking when you could have collapsed. This is why your reign, your purpose, your influence, your impact will be different. You will be the leader who understands pain, the healer who remembers their own wounds, the guide who knows what darkness feels like, the light bearer who carries mercy in their hands. You will not lead from ego, you will lead from empathy. You will not influence from force, you will influence from presence. You will not rise by stepping on others, you will rise by lifting those who are struggling. This is the calling of the chosen ones, not to be worshipped, but to be vessels, not to be praised, but to be purposeful, not to be admired, but to be aligned with heaven's work. As you walk deeper into this crown-bearing season, you will begin to notice internal shifts. Your boundaries strengthen not from fear, but from clarity. Your voice steadies not from anger, but from conviction. Your decisions simplify, not from confusion, but from alignment. You are stepping into a maturity that cannot be shaken, a discernment that cannot be manipulated, a confidence that cannot be destroyed. And above all, your spirit will carry a calm certainty, the certainty that you are exactly where you are meant to be. Chosen one. You are stepping into your crown not to be elevated above others, but to finally stand where destiny has always intended you to stand. Tall, aligned, awake, transformative. The world is about to meet the version of you that heaven has been building all along. You step now into the threshold, the place where you no longer wait for miracles from a distance, but begin walking inside them. Chosen one. This section is where the journey shifts, from prophetic promise to lived experience. Everything you have walked through, survived, endured, and risen from has brought you here, the crossing point, the moment where the wilderness ends and the path into your promised season begins to reveal itself. This crossing is not loud, it is not dramatic, it is subtle, sacred, and deeply spiritual. It feels like waking up one morning and sensing in your bones that the worst is behind you. It feels like breathing differently, deeper, freer, stronger. It feels like stepping into sunlight after months of cloudy skies. That is where you stand now. Between what was and what is becoming, you will notice that your spirit responds differently to life. Things that once shook you cannot move you now. People who once drained you no longer have access. Battles that once terrified you now feel beneath your authority. This is what crossing the threshold feels like. You are not the version of yourself who entered this journey at section 1. You are more awake, more aligned, more aware, more powerful. Heaven speaks into this moment through the ancient writings of James. Chapter 1, verse 12. Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life. This scripture echoes through you now because you have stood the test. You have endured the trial. You have crossed from refinement into reward. Crossing the threshold means you are stepping out of scarcity thinking and stepping into overflow thinking. Out of surviving and into building. Out of loneliness and into connection. Out of confusion and into clarity. Your perspective shifts. Your choices shift. Your priorities shift. Your energy shifts. This is the moment where your steps become guided, not by fear of failure, but by expectation of fulfillment. You begin walking with a confidence that did not come from ego, but from endurance. You survived what others would have surrendered to. You carried battles that others would have collapsed under. You kept moving, even when your spirit was trembling. This threshold is the reward for every moment you refuse to give up. And now, as you walk into this new space, let me speak to you sincerely, softly, and honestly, because this journey we are on together requires nourishment to continue. Like a lantern glowing in the night, this message exists to guide, to lift, to strengthen. If these words have held your heart, helped your spirit, or become part of your healing, then let your support be like water poured back into the well that poured into you. A like becomes a ripple reaching someone else who is silently breaking. A share becomes a bridge, carrying hope into places you cannot physically go. A subscription becomes a covenant, staying connected to a voice that guides your rise. A donation, no matter how small, becomes a seed, ensuring this light continues burning for others walking through the same darkness you once survived. Not out of pressure, not out of duty, but out of gratitude and alignment. Because every journey that carries divine purpose needs pillars, souls who say, "This helped me, and I want it to help others too." No, and now, as you stand on this sacred threshold, one more act remains. Not a command, not an order, but a moment of anchoring. Comment: I cross over. Why? Because speaking it seals it. Writing it activates it. Declaring it aligns your spirit with the new season you are stepping into. You are not repeating empty words. You are marking a moment. You are declaring to heaven, to yourself, and to your future that the old season is behind you and the new season is opening in front of you. Crossing the threshold means you stop waiting for change and start embracing it. You stop questioning your worth and start walking in it. You stop doubting your strength and start using it. Chosen one, you have crossed the hardest parts of your journey. Now, you step into the parts that will reward you, elevate you, and reveal why the path was shaped this way all along. The threshold is before you, and you are crossing it bravely, fully, and divinely led. You step now into the living reality of life. After loneliness, the season where the echoes that once haunted you fade into distant memory, where the spaces that once felt empty become places of growth, and where your heart begins to move with a steadiness that surprises even you, chosen one. This is the chapter you were always walking toward, even on the days when you felt lost. This is the unfolding of everything: your pain, your patience, and your perseverance prepared you for. Life after loneliness does not begin with fireworks. It begins with quiet shifts, gentle, almost invisible shifts that reveal a new rhythm in your spirit. You wake up feeling lighter. You move through your day with more clarity. You speak to yourself with more compassion. You notice beauty in moments that once felt ordinary. This is what healing looks like when it becomes your new normal. The first change you feel is internal. Your thoughts no longer spiral into fear. Your heart no longer collapses under old wounds. Your spirit no longer trembles at the thought of being misunderstood. Instead, you begin to trust again, not blindly, but wisely. You begin to love again, not recklessly, but deeply. You begin to hope again, not cautiously, but boldly. Life after loneliness is not about filling your world with people. It is about filling your soul with alignment. It is about finding peace in your own presence. It is about walking through life with the confidence that you are guided, protected, and divinely equipped. Heaven speaks into this moment with gentle authority, as the ancient words remind us in the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 17. The Lord your God is with you. He is mighty to save. He will care to you. These words rest over your life in this season, because loneliness taught you to search for comfort in the wrong places. But grace teaches you that comfort was always walking beside you. You were never abandoned. You were never forgotten. You were being guided into the version of yourself capable of receiving the love and connection heaven always intended for you. The second shift you experience in this new season is relational. People will begin entering your life who recognize your value instinctively, not because you try to prove it, but because your healed spirit reveals it. You will find yourself naturally drawn toward those who speak with honesty, who love with presence, who show up without being asked. The ones who drained you will drift away without conflict. The ones who align with your purpose will move closer without force. Relationships will feel more effortless, not because there are no challenges, but because you are no longer building from a place of emptiness. You are building from overflow. You are connecting from strength. You are loving from abundance. Life after loneliness means you recognize your own worth so fiercely that you will never again tolerate what breaks you. You will no longer settle for half love, half effort, or half truth. Your heart is too valuable. Your spirit is too awakened. Your calling is too important. The third transformation happens in your purpose. You begin stepping boldly into the work, the passion, the mission that once felt impossible. Ideas flow, energy rises, clarity sharpens. Where you once hesitated, you now move with certainty. Where you once doubted, you now trust. Where you once feared failure, you now recognize destiny. Loneliness had a way of shrinking you. Purpose has a way of expanding you. And you are expanding now into confidence, into direction, into alignment with your higher calling. Then comes the emotional shift. You begin to laugh again, not politely, but genuinely. You begin to feel joy again, not briefly, but deeply. You begin to see possibilities again, not limited, but endless. This is not fragile joy. This is not temporary peace. This is not borrowed light. This is yours, earned through endurance, forged through fire, strengthened through silence. Life after loneliness teaches you that solitude was never the enemy, it was the sculptor. It shaped you. It refined you. It taught you to hear the whispers of heaven that crowds often drown out. Now, as you stand in this new season, you finally understand you were not being separated from the world. You were being separated for your calling. And now that the separation has served its purpose, you walk forward with a heart unburdened, a spirit awakened, and a life unfolding exactly as heaven designed. Chosen one, this is your season of connection. clarity, and expansion. This is the chapter where peace becomes your companion. This is the moment where your heart takes its first full breath in years. Loneliness is no longer your identity. It is simply a place you once passed through on your way to destiny. You step now into the realization that what has begun in your life is not temporary, not seasonal, not fragile. This is the unending flow. The miracles that moved toward you, the breakthroughs that unfolded, the healing that settled in your spirit, the clarity that sharpened your vision, none of it stops here. Chosen one. This final section is not an ending. It is the opening of a continual river that will keep moving through your life long after this moment fades into memory. For so long, you believed miracles came in brief flashes, rare and unpredictable. You believed blessings were scattered moments rather than a continual rhythm. But now you discover the truth. When alignment is established, heaven does not send one miracle, it sends a stream. When your heart awakens, the flow does not stop, it accelerates. When your identity becomes clear, the path ahead becomes illuminated in ways you never imagined. This is the season where you no longer brace yourself for the next hardship. This is the season where you no longer expect cycles of disappointment to repeat. This is the season where hope is no longer something you hold cautiously, it is something you wear boldly. The unending flow begins inside you first. Your thoughts grow calmer. Your emotions grow steadier. Your intuition grows sharper. You begin to trust the movement of your life, not because you see every step, but because you finally trust the one guiding them. You begin to understand that what once felt random was always orchestration. Every person who left made room. Every delay protected you. Every struggle chiseled your spirit into something unbreakable. Heaven speaks once more into this moment through the words in the book of John, Chapter 7, verse 38. Whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow from within them. These words are not symbolic alone, they are prophetic. They describe the very flow you are stepping into, a river within you, not outside of you, a source of strength, wisdom, and guidance that will continue to move long after this chapter closes. This unending flow is not only spiritual, it is emotional, relational, and purposeful. Your emotional flow becomes steady, no longer jolted by every slight or setback. You begin to navigate life with a grace that comes from healing, not defensiveness. You start responding rather than reacting. You feel grounded in your worth, rooted in your identity, supported by the divine. Your relational flow shifts as well. You attract people who match your frequency, people who honor your heart, respect your fire, understand your purpose. You stop chasing and start aligning. You stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. You stop giving energy to connections that drain you. Instead, you feel the natural magnetism of souls who recognize your light. In purpose, the flow becomes undeniable. Ideas rise like sparks. Opportunities feel divinely timed. Doors open without your force. You begin operating not from striving, but from calling, not from insecurity, but from clarity, not from desperation, but from divine direction. And slowly, something extraordinary happens. You stop doubting whether you are meant for more. You stop questioning whether happiness is temporary. You stop wondering if loneliness will return. You become a vessel, carrying light, carrying wisdom, carrying the maturity born from everything you survived. This flow also changes how you see yourself. You no longer view your past as shameful. You no longer view your mistakes as disqualifications. You no longer view your wounds as weaknesses. Instead, you see the thread of divine intention woven through every chapter. You see how loss shaped depth, how silence built strength, how loneliness sharpened discernment, how pain unlocked purpose. This is the unending flow, not a promise that life will be perfect, but a revelation that your spirit will remain unshaken, that you now carry a stability that storms cannot break, that you now walk with a confidence hell cannot challenge. And now, chosen one, you understand something powerful. The miracles did not come to you. They were awakened within you. And anything awakened within you becomes permanent. The flow continues because it is now part of your identity. It continues because you are aligned. It continues because your spirit is open. It continues because heaven has found a vessel it can trust. From here forward, the journey does not quiet. It expands. The blessings do not slow, they multiply. The clarity does not fade, it deepens. This is the unending flow, and you are walking in it now, confident, healed, whole, and fully awakened. Chosen one. Now that you have walked through all 17 sections, breathe. Feel what is happening inside you, how your spirit is calmer, your vision clearer, your heart stronger. You didn't just read a script. You moved through a journey of awakening, cleansing, breaking, building, and rising. And now you stand here, not as the lonely soul you once were, not as the wounded version you had to survive with, but as the one who has crossed over into alignment, identity, purpose, and divine timing. This moment, right now, is your exhale. You have carried so much. You have healed from so much. You have risen through so much. And heaven has watched every step. As you move forward beyond these words, remember this truth. The miracles that began unfolding within these sections are not confined to the page. They are set into motion in your actual life. They will meet you in unexpected moments, in quiet mornings, in conversations you didn't anticipate, in opportunities you didn't see coming. You are no longer waiting for alignment, you are walking inside it. And now, with sincerity, let me speak heart to heart. If this journey has touched you, if it has lifted your spirit, if it has spoken into places no one else could reach, then let that be reflected in a gentle, simple act of connection. Leave a comment below. Your words may be the light someone else needs. Like this message, if it anchored something inside you, share it so another chosen one can find their way out of the dark, just as you did. And subscribe, not out of habit, but because this space has become part of your growth, your clarity, your rising. Your engagement isn't about numbers. It's about expanding the circle of healing. It's about keeping this light alive so it can reach others, wandering through the same storms you survived. You made it to the end, stronger, clearer, awakened. Now carry this light with you. Walk boldly into your new season. And remember, once heaven begins a good work in you, it never stops until the miracle is complete.